Stephanie Stitches here. Welcome to my channel where together we sew. If you're brand new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell for notifications so you'll know when I go live or post up videos like this one. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I love seeing you all here and your comments down below. Today is the last day of the Fort Wheeler Fabric Studio Dark Flight Sew Along. So today we get to finish this fun project. I'm so excited to put this all together after making all these cute blocks and what felt like 300 log cabin blocks. Not really, I think it was what, 36 log cabin blocks. They were a lot of fun. I liked that they were small. They went together really quickly. So today we're going to get to put all this together and make our top. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build our center with the bats and the pumpkin. And I've seen a lot of the pictures you all have posted in the Facebook group, and a lot of you have posted what you think the layout is going to be, and some of you are very, very close. So let's get this together and see how it turns out. So I've got my blocks here for the main part of the quilt. The first thing that we're going to do is put these together and follow the diagram. We're going to grab one of the flying bats. Well, I guess they're all flying. One of the bats with the cat eyes and one of the all black bats. And we're going to join those two together. We're going to make the first row. Then we're going to take another one of the bats with the eyes. And the first one was going this direction. We're going to turn this guy and make him go the opposite direction. Make sure you follow all the diagrams in the printed instructions. So this is row 1. We've got one bat going this way, one in the center, and one bat going that way. Get all these little threads off. Okay, I'm going to put this aside for a minute, and I'm going to do my center row. Now the center row is made up of 2 of these black bats, the all black bats, and one is going to be going to the left, and one is going to be going to the right, and in between them is going to be that cute pumpkin. So we're going to have sort of the bats flying away from the pumpkin. So let's put those together. One. I'm going to add this guy to the other side. Okay, so there's row 2, a bat, a pumpkin, and then another bat. Okay, put that aside. Now we're going to do the same thing that we did on the top all over again and put one of these bats with the cat eyes, one of the plain black bats, and then another bat with the cat eyes turned again. And this whole row is going to be upside down, but for now I'm going to sew it right side up. Okay, got the one bat on. Gonna join this batch. Okay, so there's row 3, and I'm showing it to you right side up, but you're actually going to attach it to the other pieces wrong side. So these bats are going to fly upside down. Alright, so I'm going to grab my other rows. Let's put these together. So I'm going to start with the bottom row so I don't forget to make it upside down, and add the pumpkin row to that row. Now you can pin all these if you want to, or wonder clip them, or just sort of wing it like I'm doing. So that is row 2 and 3 together. cute. Okay, now I'm going to put on the top row. This time making sure that these bats are going up towards the top. Their heads are up towards the top. Their bottoms are towards the pumpkin. It has started feeling like fall here in Ohio, so now this quilt makes a whole lot of sense. The weather's cooled off. It's getting really cool at nighttime. Almost to the point where we need the heat. Not quite. This time of year is when we really start seeing the bats. So, there's the center of our quilt. Now we're going to add our first border, which is going to be these orange pieces right here. And then we're going to add our second border, which are these black strips. Now the black strips are going to have to be pieced. One will not be enough for each side. So we're going to start with the orange ones. And we're going to do the left and the right borders first, and then the top and the bottom. I believe that's the way it was written in the instructions. Plus, that's typically the way I always put borders on, left and right, and then top to bottom. So, let's go over here. I'm going to begin right here on the bottom. Oh, I really like this orange up against all these black bats. This looks really nice. Okay, so it looks like we've got about 6-7 inches left at the end there, which we'll trim off in a minute. I'm going to put the other side on first and then trim them both. Make sure that you're not pulling your fabric and stretching it as you sew here if you don't pin. Now I'm going to trim those borders off. Grab my rotary cutter and a small ruler. Okay, turn it to the other side. Yep, that's the same side I just had. Okay, get this one off. And then we can attach the top and bottom borders. All right. This fabric had a little bit of fraying, so I'm going to have to go back later and trim off some stray little strings here, it looks like. It's alright. Clean up all that before I quilt it. Okay, now we can add these top and bottom borders. I always backstitch on my borders. Just a tip, if you ever get anything long-armed, that's where most long-armers like me see your piece come apart. If you don't backstitch at your borders, they tend to pull apart on the long arm. So I always do that kind of as a rule of practice. Something I didn't know until I long-armed myself. And even though that's not going to be the outermost border, I'm just in the habit, so that's why you may see me backstitch those. So we'll have just a few inches to trim off this side, but again, I'm going to stitch my border on the other side first and then do both at the same time. this is going together quite nicely, very quickly. That one on. I'm going to cut these extra pieces off. So we've got our first border on, yay! I really love this pop of orange. I think it's exactly what this needed. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to do is add the second border, which is your black fabric, and that's going to have to be pieced together. So I believe it was 3-inch strips that we had to use, 5 of them. You'll need 1 for each side, and then you'll need some extra from the 5th strip for to make your borders. Now you can either cut that 5th strip up and use that to construct your borders, or you can sew all your border strips together, measure your sides, and then cut them to the lengths that you need. I prefer to do it where I cut the strips up. Oh, look at that. That orange just makes it all pop. Okay, I'm going to set this aside for a minute. I have all 5 of my pieces here. Grab them. But I cut up my 5th piece into smaller pieces that I'm going to add to my long pieces. I prefer to do it that way rather than sewing all these long strips together and having to measure and cut. That's just the way I like to do it. But if you like to do it the other way, then that's fine. So all I'm doing right now is just sewing my borders together. Okay, so that'll be one border. Two borders. What this does mean is that, like the orange border, I'll probably have extra to trim off of each side, but that's all right. haven't cut off the selvage yet of these, so I'm going to do that now before I sew them to the quilt. At least on one side. The other side won't matter because we're going to be trimming it down anyway. Okay, got all those selvages cut off, set that aside, and grab my piece. And again, I'm going to do the left and the right hand side first, and then do the top and the bottom. Okay. Just going to snip this for now to get it out of the way. And then do the opposite side. And then I'll come back and trim that when we're done with both sides. rough trim for now. Alright, now I'm going to trim up each side here, and then we'll put on the top and bottom borders. We're nearly there. Okay, that's one. I like to use a square ruler for this just so I can make sure that I'm trimming this side nice and square. There we go. That's two. Alright, now we're going to do the top and the bottom. Oh, this is turning out nice. I love it. Okay. Start right on over here. I may have run out of bottom. Let's take a peek. Nope, you just got stuck down there. Alrighty. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Since I'm not a pinner, I'm just taking my time every few inches to line up the fabric. I'm going to cut off some of this excess for now just to keep it out of the way. And then do the other side. trim these borders down. Last one to trim down here. Alrighty. So this is what our top looks like with the borders. Very cute. And there it is. All done. Isn't it cute? I love the way it came out. Okay, so looks like we're all done. And that was Dark Flight. Forward Fabric Studios Dark Flight quilt. Oops, forgot one thing. We had you make 36 log cabin blocks. I guess we need to put those on the quilt too, don't we? I didn't really forget. I was just joking with you guys. Okay. So I'm going to set this guy aside, and we're going to make our log cabin borders. So what I suggest is to separate your log cabin pieces into 3 piles. We're going to be making strips. I already put a couple of them together. Oops, I'm dropping them on the floor. That looks something like this. You're going to make 2 with 8 blocks across and 2 with 10 blocks across. So what I suggest is lining up your blocks the direction that they should be in your strips. That will make this process a lot easier. Okay? And then when you're making the 10 patch blocks, which is the one I'm going to do with you, I did the 2 8s and I did 1 10, and I'm glad I did, because when I got to the end of the 10th, the first strip of the 10 block, there was a little bit of a twist at the end. So pay really close attention to your diagram. You're gonna I put these in order of the way we're gonna sew them together for the 10 piece. Now it's a little bit different, so look at your diagram for the 8. I believe the 8 starts with, yes, the diamond. So they're gonna be in a different sort of order. They would be like this. But for the 10 piece, they're like this. Okay? So I'm just gonna keep pulling these in order, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about when we get to the very end of the 10 patch row. Cute. The nice thing about these is that there's no seams to line up. I'm sliding away from my machine here. And my foot pedal's running away too. Got all kinds of issues going on. Alright, so I did 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to go back to the beginning of my piles. Like that. Now they're all going to stay the same direction all the way across until the very last one in the 10th, in the row of 10. So pay very close attention to your diagrams. I was actually going to sew all these up ahead of time to save a little bit of time. But then when I discovered the row with 10 is a little bit different, I decided to save one to sew with you guys. That way you don't have to use jack, hopefully, because I almost did. I realized right before I started sewing it that it was different. Okay, so now I've used all those blocks except one of these, which was the one that started off the whole row. So they've all been sewn the same way so far, but here at the end, we are going to turn this one so the black fabric is touching the black cat fabric. So just like that. So you're going to have black cats on here across the top, black cats across the right hand side, and then you're going to have the black fabric on the left and the black across the top. Now we've been attaching them this way all along, but this time you're going to turn it just like this. So you're going to have the orange on your lower right and the black on your left. Okay? So that's just a little bit different. This is the only piece in the entire row that's different. Otherwise you can keep them stacked and sew them in order like I showed you, just when you get to that 10th piece. Now, the 8-piece rows aren't like that. There's nothing to turn or change. Unless I missed a step, but I don't think I did. Just in those 10-piece rows. They were trying to trick us a little bit. Trick or treat. The adult version, right? Okay. So, here's one of my 10-piece rows. So I have 2 of those. This is one of my 10s. So the 10-piece rows are going to be the top and the bottom. The smaller 8-piece rows are going to be your left hand and your right hand side pieces. So we're going to put these guys on first. I'm going to put my rotary cutter over here because I don't need it anymore. Give myself a little bit more space here. So the diamond pattern is going to start off your, where it's up at the top, is going to start off your 8-piece row. And I'm going to start on the left hand side of my quilt. So I'm going to make sure that my diamond is on the lower left hand side of the front of my quilt. The pumpkin stem is going up to the top, and I'm going to join this just like this. the end here, and everything's lining up very nicely. Perfect. Awesome. That looks awesome on there. Okay. So now for the opposite side. Oh, I really like the way that looks. Okay. So for the right hand side, the diamonds are going to start up on the top right. There's side number 2. Now we just have to do the top and the bottom. I'm going to do those off camera, and then I will come back and show you my finished quilt top. So here it is behind me. It's all done. Yay! I love it, and it's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, so I'm really excited about that. It's a really good size quilt. I don't know why in my brain, even though I had the dimensions in front of me, saw it as several inches smaller. So I'm super excited about it. I love it. It makes me more excited for fall than I even was before. I hope you guys enjoyed sewing along with me. I surely enjoyed sewing along with you, and I love seeing all your progress in the Facebook group. So post those quilts when you get them done. I loved seeing all your guesses to see the layout. A lot of you were really, really, really close. So that's it. And thank you so much to the staff at Fort Worth Fabric Studio for bringing us another beautiful sew along and the free patterns. It is very much appreciated in the quilting community. And thank you especially to Jody for asking me to sew along again. I feel very humbled and honored every time you ask me. So thank you so much, and I hope you all have a great week and you get your quilts all finished and share some pictures with us. Take care, everybody, and have a wonderful, wonderful autumn, and happy Halloween if you are into Halloween. So, all right, bye-bye.